Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply.
Stars, trees, clouds, and the moon. They all have a meaning and they look just like you.
So we're here in between that full moon, just past the last quarter of this lunar cycle, and I thought, since I just released a Substack this week, that I would elaborate on some of the concepts that I write about in Substack. And if inspired, please check it out, or I also include all this writing on my website. And I'm a big advocate, before we dive in, for preserving the arts, meaning human-made art in all forms, literature created by humans, all those things. So when inspired, and if you can, buy books that are made by humans, buy music made by humans, buy poetry made by humans, buy food made by humans, all those things, all of it's art, and we need to preserve humanity. It's really important. So this also ties into the trickster, because when we look at artificial means, it's very easy to be tricked. And in the last Soul and Luna segment with the meditation and sound, you can go back and listen to, we talk about the trickster and moving beyond the trickster. So what happens when you are courageous enough to move past the trickster? And this is something that I've talked about for some time now, but it means that you actually unplug from their feeding mechanism. And this is why we're going to have some interesting roads ahead as this all self-organizes organically, where more and more of humanity will unplug from being manipulated, whether it's through artificial means or humans that appear to have your best interest in mind, or hybrid human beings, or those shapeshifters that we haven't gotten to yet, that we'll be learning more about in the near future. And so all of these things play into this concept of moving beyond the trickster. And as I mentioned in that last segment with the meditation and sound, is that your mind can be the trickster too. And this is why I feel we have so many people really loving talking about mental health diagnosis and pathologies. However, we will move beyond this too, because it used to be that, and in higher dimensional realms where everyone is in well-being, there isn't this need to get better, be cured, do all these things to bypass this, that, or the other. It's everyone is in well-being and meets it proactively on a daily basis. And so right now, where we're at the juncture, the threshold, is that the mind, because collectively we still have that trickster, the Wetico, in our collective consciousness, and bit by bit it's breaking away, and each one of you are starting to get your voice to really be like, no, I don't want to participate in that anymore. And how you'll know is that when someone is a trickster, you will feel it, because when you're in their presence, you will feel different. Sometimes it at first might feel positive, like they inflate you. Then you will start to feel your energy, your life force drain, and you will not feel good after interactions, and it's getting more exasperated. And that's because these beings have learned to be energy, excuse the expression, vampires. And so they're feeding off your system. And when you get away from them, far away from them, or, in another house down the street or in another state, you will start to regain feeling normal. And so until this all gets sorted, it might feel a little clunky for everyone, but I recommend that you start to notice and start to have compassion for each other, because this isn't like just walk away and everything's fine. We're still in a functioning society together, and this will unravel itself in many mysterious ways, and definitely in ways that a computer or technologies are not anticipating. And so for you, and part of what I talked about is that starting to really understand that you can do two things: take responsibility in your mind, find your stillness, and also learn how to dance in the chaos. And both of these things will be needed at this moment. Is that as everyone starts to reclaim their sovereignty and their energy field, like basically saying, I don't want to be siphoned. I don't want my energy taken from me. And this happens in all ways. And it happens basically through technology, but it happens from human to human, no matter what the breakdown is of that humanness. But it happens from human to human. And it happens in ethereal spaces, unseen spaces, to perceptual physical spaces. So that would pretty much cover like the three places where you can have vulnerability. And so that might be the chaos that you need to learn to dance in, because you still have jobs, you still have places to be, but you can keep yourself protected when you're in those environments, and give yourself space to cleanse and purify. And this is why in our indigenous cultures, it's a tradition to go in the lodge and sweat it out. It's a tradition to pray and keep oneself really anchored in the heart space. Now, of course, there's all this biohacking technology, all those things, but those are bypass mechanisms because they're inherently attached to artificial sources. So yes, they might be helpful when you can't get to the sunlight, when you can't get outside. However, the best source of helping you retain your balance and your harmony from the inside out is nature that we're a part of, and returning to that natural calm. This will help you stay in objective reality. This will also help you discern what is, which I talked about also. When you're using a technology, just like you're listening to me right now, if I was nefarious, which I'm not, I could put undertones in my conversation that could have an impact on you. That would be unethical. However, this does occur. And with the trends of sound in a way that's becoming an industry, there's a lot of susceptibility. Also with the apps, you want to look to see who owns these apps and what data are they capturing on you, and are they manipulating you when you're listening to it. Just because it sounds good doesn't mean that it's healthy for you. So be mindful, and the best way is just to go out in the forest, go outside and lay on a rock, lay on the beach, just chill out and get back into your resonance. And so that's your threshold point where you can like really reclaim, is being in nature. And then to handle your mental state of being, where you might be tricking yourself, where you might be a person that ruminates a lot, runs in circles, and conflates things to make them be something that they're not. That's where you need to have your checks and balances and to dip into silence. So the best thing to do here with the trickster that exists within you is to go outside, lay on the earth, unplug from all technology, power your house down, turn off the panel, turn off the Wi-Fi if you have it, turn off your phones, and just leave them at home. Go for a long walk deep in the woods and just be. That's the way to like really tap into your silence, so that trickster within you can start to dissolve. You come back into the Tao, into your essence, so that you can really start leading from your soul's place. And then from there, the outsmarting the coyote in the world around you. Now, this is the curious thing about our tricksters out there. They are master manipulators, and they will, in an unethical manner, manipulate you to get what they want. And so that's the chaos that you want to learn to right now dance in, meaning that when you see someone attempting to manipulate you consciously or subconsciously, because this can be, to navigate it. And you might need just to use the simple word, no, thank you, no, thank you. You can say your please and thank yous. But bit by bit, people are seeing it. And what happens on a quantum level is that you are able to reclaim your objective sight. And so you might see what really is. And when enough people see what is happening, it actually, as I mentioned in what I wrote, is that it breaks you free of deception. And so imagine you're in a room and you have really strong intuition, and you know the person maybe that's talking at the conference table, but you know innately that they're manipulating everyone in the room. As you see it and then other people see it, it becomes what we call the white elephant in the room. And eventually it either gets called out, or some recalibration has to happen, or that energy has to move away because it will become destructive in that environment, and potentially lead like the group into a deceptive place. And again, I use the word, sometimes it's subconscious and sometimes it's conscious. As I mentioned in other points in time, that all grasping leads to suffering. So if you're wanting something, then subconsciously you could deceive others because you want something so bad, you're willing to trick others to get what you want. And so radical honesty is really needed internally and externally when you show up and when you are in the physical world. And if you've had the chance to like work in certain situations where maybe the group of people have a sense that they have a level of importance, whether they're a political leader, whether they're an entertainer, whether they're a scientist, but they have some clout around them that's placed on them by society. Irregardless if that's properly placed or not, what you might notice in that situation, there's a lot of people grasping at that person. And then all these manipulations start to happen because of the perception that someone has placed on these people that they are better than or more than any other human. And that is what we're starting to remember, is that we all are equal. We have different strengths and gifts, and we can assist each other based on our experiences and our humanness in a group setting and an individual setting. So I encourage you, one, as I wrote, is just to find some silence. Go out in nature. And then number two, once you feel that calm, when you engage in group settings, really be objective, be the observer, and call yourself out when you are fantasizing about something, or you have fear about something, you're ruminating about something. As soon as you start that cycle, it's going to be further and further and further away from the truth, and potentially lead you to be a trickster or someone to prey upon you. So this is the balancing, and the anchor point will be your heart, and for you to return to your natural state of being, which is calm, which nature, right outside wherever you are, if you're not outside right now, is running through all of us. It even runs through your home. And if you just go outside, unplug, you can rebalance your system rather rapidly and keep meeting it there. So, all right, Trickster in the mind. And then we talk a little bit about, in the Substack, about grasping, and letting go and knowing and listening. And that is the hardest effort. So if you go outside and get calm and you come back in, you might find yourself grasping again. And I'll tell with my students sometimes, like, hold on to an object and let it go, like drop it on the floor. Make sure it's something you don't want to break, but let it go. And when you let it go, be willing to leave it there. And this is the aspect of, in the East, of yogic, Taoist, Buddhist, is that really the practice is not to grasp at anything. And what happens when one lets go of all grasping, it's like, it feels so good. It's like, okay, this feels good. There's a deep trust and surrender, and you have the ability to be more authentic for yourself and others on any given day. So I would love for you in this moment just to think about like, what could I do to start really calming myself down and start letting go of the things that really cause constriction in my physical body, my mental body, and my emotional body. We're going to listen to a song while you contemplate that. I can say that word. Contemplate that right now. It's called River. And this is a great song to think about change, embracing letting go, and following the energy of the river. And when we come back, then we'll talk about how to notice when we are grasping in the physical body, the mental, emotional, and spiritual body. So, as Empire, just sit back or keep doing what you're doing and enjoy River by Cadre Scott.
Something changed, it'll feel so strange now. And if you show what remains, I will never say no. And like a river flows, my love remains, and I'm not ready to let go. So please just stay, Jasmine. Warm air and cinnamon wood burning, children laughing and people passing. The world spins, but we just stand still. There was love, watch it fade. Don't you feel so strange now? And how do you know people change if they never say so? And like a river flows, your love has strayed, 'cause you were ready to let go. I'll do the same, Jasmine. Warm air and cinnamon wood burning, children laughing and people passing. The world spins, and we just stand still. Jasmine, warm air and cinnamon and wood burning, children laughing and people passing. The world spins, but we just stand still. We had love, what remains? Everything's so clear now. And what do you know? People change, but they
How do you know if
never
they've
say
changed?
so.
Don't tell you. It's a beautiful, powerful statement. And in regard to this conversation about a trickster, is that this is key. They won't tell you anything because they are still in their delusion of what they have made up in their mind, what they're grasping for, what they're trying to seek, all those things. So I share that with you because this is one way, and oftentimes I'll share this with my clients, especially if they've gone through a breakup, like, what do you need to know? What has to be there if this person comes back to you? typically with trickster personalities, and there's lots of little mental pathologies we could label it with, but we'll just call it the trickster. They're not going to have self-awareness enough to recognize how they manipulated you. They will not have self-awareness enough to show you that they have actually gone through transformation. And what that simply looks like is, 1, they take responsibility. 2, they ask for forgiveness. And 3, they would never expect for you to immediately welcome you back. They would understand that they need to re-earn your trust. And so if we go back to how we can deceive ourselves, because that's how, as a society, we've co-created this deception, is because we've listened to seductive ideas and ideologies, and now we're fully embracing synthetic interface with all aspects of our society, that it's very slippery slope that we're on, and it's pulling us out a state of resonance. So for a moment, I want you to go out in your mind. If you're not out there right now, go outside. And I want you to sit down as we finish this segment out, and just be outside if you can. And you'll notice as you sit there for a while that your system's going to slow down. Nature is not moving rapidly. So we have this contrast between humanness and artificialness. Artificialness is taking your precious energy and speeding it up. It's giving you so much information so fast. And over time, you will start trying to sprint with that technology. And it's already that way. We have all these applications that have somehow convinced us all that we need to create things faster, and it doesn't make any sense. I long for standing at the fax machine with that annoying noise just to stand there for a few minutes, versus being on demand. And so as a society, we have a choice right now to determine how we want to navigate our being. So each one of you have responsibility to yourself and your family and your local community to decide how quickly do you want to move, because the faster anyone is moving, the easier it is for someone else to deceive you. And so this is what happens in some of those relationships. It's fast moving. I will love bomb you. I will promise you everything. I have nothing to offer, but I'm going to promise you everything. I'm going to give. And, part of it might be sincere, but part of it might not. And so society has become wise to that. And then it's at the same time is still trying to keep a pretty good 5K clip in the day-to-day practices. So what this looks like for you as an individual, as you become more self-aware in your mind, in your body, and in your actions and your speech, is to really look and feel your energetic frequency and how fast it's moving. So if you have anxiety, you are running too fast, time to slow down. You're in the future and you're trying to keep up at a pace that is not healthy. It's going to degrade your physical, mental, and emotional body. So be in the present. There's no hurry. It takes a good bit to grow food. So think about that as your pacing mechanism, about from a seedling to a plant to fruit or vegetables. It takes a minute. You can pace yourself in a rhythm that's natural to you. Think of a sloth. A sloth moves very slow, and it's part of its rhythm. Each of you are unique, but it's important to understand that we are not designed to move at the speed of artificial intelligence. And it's important for you. It's kind of like if I gave you a big cake, it would be important that maybe you just eat a slice of the cake and not the whole cake. And so when people are taking like huge cakes of information, digesting it and then putting it aside, it's mimicking that trickster, because there isn't contemplation and sitting and really analyzing and going. And that's the beauty of the humanness. That's so beautiful, to allow the human to explore and find and sit and contemplate and create in a way that feels sincere and authentic. So what this looks like we talked about getting silent, grounding, go outside, return to your natural state of calm. And then in a day-to-day place, if again, you're suffering from anxiety and running forward, this is a sign to slow down, really bring in slow. And that might be unplugging from technology, taking up some crafts, taking up games, board games with your friends, not computer games, all those things that move at a different rhythm that will help you retain harmony within. The indicators in your physical body will come through some unspoken language. So a lot of people are hooking up electrodes to trees and all different kinds of things. But really that transmission from nature is meant to meet you in a subtextual form. It's not meant to be blasted over speakers in a large room. It's really meant to be at the resonance it's at and the frequency it's at, so that it can meet your system in a gentle way. Nature is very quiet. So what you'll notice when you're tricking yourself, or someone else is tricking you, or something is positive, meaning it will be building, or it's diminishing, you will get these signals from your fascia, which is your Spider-Man or woman or person suit that's between your skin and your muscular system. I'll say the word right. And that spider suit sends out waves, and that's connected to your biofield. And so when you come into contact with someone that's danger, you might freeze. If you go outside, you'll see nature show you about this. So if something's coming in and someone feels threatened, that fascia, that spider suit will react and signal you, freeze, look around, or run. It's like that. And then if you are speaking something that maybe you might miss, the same thing, there's a signal from the unseen through your fascia that will give you goosebumps. And those goosebumps could be positive or negative confirmation, meaning like the hair stands up on the back of your neck, like there's danger, but not to let someone know that there's danger. And then the goosebumps are that positive confirmation in a moment where you might bypass that, and the unseen nature, all the sentient trees that are around us are notifying you like, hey, pay attention, that's a yes. And so these are ways, if we really slow down and observe and listen, then we can really be in a cadence and truly in our purpose, our dharma, meaning that you will be using your innate gifts. Each of you have unique ones. Some people have a bigger palette. Some people have a smaller palette of tools because they've sharpened them over many more lifetimes, or they just have. It's not like someone's better or worse than anyone, but you all have innate gifts and tools that come by you naturally. And that's why right now it's important to connect to those so that you can continue to refine them. And as you refine them, they will continue to reach a point of mastery, and you'll find you are in flow with more yeses in your life than nos. And the way that you get a pickup on all of this is just simply by slowing down. And there's some great movements like slow food, slow agriculture, all these movements just to slow down and take your time. There's no hurry. So as we exit out, I'm going to put Cadre Scott on again because I have the ability to use her music. And we're going to listen to Fields of Flowers. Before we do that, I wanted just to encourage each and every one of you, as you're tipping into summer or winter, depending where you are, or rocking steady at the equator, to really be aware of the seasonal transitions. Know that those transitions happen based on what's happening in your part of the world. It's not based on a Gregorian calendar. So depending what the weather is doing in your location and what Mother Nature is doing in your location, that's kind of the indicator of when summer's here, when fall or winter is here. All those things are based on observation, not based on manufactured data that is given to us again, taking us out of our natural rhythm. So a couple more things before we sign out. This is kind of fun. We'll see where this goes. I used to do self-love segments, and then I'm like, why don't I just speak about what I'm writing? Two things I love to do is to broadcast and to write. And so why not dive in there? So I decided, and I added this in this letter, a little good news. And I wanted to share this, and I encourage you all to look for it daily. So if you are on tech, maybe you ask your search engine to give you some good news. We're bombarded, and even more so in social media spaces, that with some really graphic and disturbing information. I would caution everyone, remember, whatever you post, it's not so much that the tech bros are watching you. It could be partially, but more importantly, that every action that you take is visible by the unseen realms. And so if you have an idea or a concept or knowing that you would like to be in a higher resonance, maybe in a dimensional field that isn't as violent, I would highly encourage that you reduce the amount of that type of material that you take in and that you're circulating. Yes, there are times when we have to share this information, but there's different ways that we can do it. So to get to my section on lemonade for good news is that I wanted to give a shout out to Africa. In Ghana, the continent of Africa, about Africa and innovation, but in Ghana, coconut waste is being repurposed into plastic-free packaged materials, and they are spotlighting sustainability and entrepreneurship. So similarly in Kenya, there's a startup that's transforming agricultural waste like maize stalks and sugarcane into biodegradable packaging, reducing plastic pollution and creating real jobs. So understand that all we have to do is not pollute, and then we stay in harmony with nature. Or if we have waste, we regenerate with it, we reuse it, and we'll stay in harmony with nature. The other shout out I want to give is that in Colombia, they reported in their Q1 in 2025, 33% reduction in national deforestation, which is fantastic. Good job, Colombia. With a 54% drop in the Amazon national parks, marking a significant step towards biodiversity protection. And then in Brazil, deforestation in the Amazon fell to 28% in early 2025. So this has occurred by stricter enforcement and indigenous-led reforestation. So good job to those that are lovers of Mother Nature. And then last shout out is to kind humans, that there were two Edmonton brothers that were given tickets to see the Stanley Cup. I can get this out. And then there was also some influencers out of Chicago that did a similar thing. They gifted a family of 4 a fully funded trip to see the Special Olympics in Colorado. So remember, I just got goosebumps. You guys can make change happen by doing simple, honest, good deeds for one another and care. So until next time, we're going to sign out with a little Cadre Scott, Fields of Flowers. Stay a little bit longer, go lay in your garden, feel the flowers popping up. And until the new moon, this is Suzanne signing out with a full heart, a soft gaze, big smile, a deep bow, and a namaste. Be simply.